Hello, I'm Dr. Donna Hauser, a research assistant professor at the International Arctic Research Center at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. There's been a profound loss of Arctic sea ice extent, thickness, and the duration of cover. Sea ice loss has not only transformed Arctic marine ecosystems, but has also created novel changes in the access and availability of different Arctic regions. And no longer are we talking about an Arctic sea route that was experienced by some of the earliest European explorers, like Amundsen, who transited the fabled Northwest Passage over a 3-year period over a century ago aboard a 60-foot wooden sailing ship. If we fast forward to 2016, they had the first large cruise ship that was over 800 feet long and carrying over 1,500 passengers complete the sea route within just a few weeks. And ships represent a relatively novel risk factor for the 7 Arctic marine mammal species. These are sentinel and ice-adapted species, as well as culturally and ecologically critical to Arctic marine ecosystems. We also know from research at lower latitudes that marine mammals may be particularly sensitive to vessels because of their reliance on sound. We also know vessels could disturb animals or displace them from their preferred habitat, or even cause direct mortality due to ship strikes. So I led a research team to examine the predicted vulnerability of 80 populations of these 7 Arctic marine mammal species to vessels in the Arctic sea routes. And we considered 2 factors. First, that exposure is the degree of spatial overlap for the sea routes with each of the population's range. And second, sensitivity, which was a set of variables that consider the consequences of a population being exposed to vessels. We found that vulnerability to vessels varied among the 53% of the populations that were exposed to the Arctic sea routes. Whale and walrus populations were generally more vulnerable than the ice seals and polar bears. Overall, narwhals had the greatest vulnerability scores, and that corresponded to their high exposure in the Northwest Passage region. Vulnerability also varied geographically. Alaska's Bering Strait region is a natural geographic pinch point. And so places like that were characterized by populations that had 2 times greater vulnerability than some of the more remote regions. And in these areas, there's high potential for conflict because it's an obligatory pathway for vessels, as well as the thousands of migratory marine mammals that use the area on a seasonal basis. Overall, an important take-home message is that the responses, risks, and ultimately future resilience of Arctic marine mammals varies among regions, populations, and species, but also by risk factor. Thank you.